Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop a day early. And I got 8 comics this week. 4 of them were reorders, so that's why I got so many this week. But let's start with a Marvel's Greatest Creators, number 1. And this is Luke Cage Power Man. Introducing Piranha. I guess that's why they've... I don't know why they'd pick this issue of Power Man, issue number 30. There's the original cover. I guess, is Piranha a big character now? Not that I know of. Don McGregor, Rich Buckler, and Arvell Jones. Ooh, nice splash page. Luke Cage, I don't know that I've ever read this one. The cover looks familiar, but I read some of the... I started picking up Power Man probably around issue 40. Back when I was a kid, so and I read some of them before that. What issue was this again? 30. So I'm not sure if I did read it. I haven't read it since 1982. So so it's not like it won't be new to me, no matter what, even if I did read it in 1982. And then let me show you the Peter Cannons I got. These are the reorders. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, number 1. And I read these digitally and decided I want to put it on my pull list because it was real good. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, number 2. And these are by Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard. Wingard, Casper Wingard, I think that is. Peter Thunderbolt, number 3. And these are kind of a stealth sequel to The Watchmen in a way, because Ozymandias, the character in The Watchmen, was based on this old... Peter Cannon Thunderbolt's an old Golden Age character. But what got me to get it was this issue 4 really hooked me, because see that right there? That is one of the alternate worlds that he goes to in this, is the world of Alec, Eddie Campbell's comic from the 80s. Let me show you this. This came out in 1990, I believe it was. The Complete Alec. Because I remember seeing these, let's see, do we have a year on it? Yeah, 1990, The Complete Alec, Capper Eddie Campbell. Now, if you look here, this was an Alec. This was a comic that was just about Alec, this guy, and hanging out at the pub, and I think it took place somewhere in England. And Eddie Campbell went on to do From Hell with Alan Moore. But when I got to, this issue 4 of Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, and it was an homage to Eddie Campbell's Alec, I was like, I gotta get this book. I gotta get it on my pull list. So, and luckily all 4 issues were available for reorder. So they just, reordered them from Diamond, and I'm good to go. Now it's on my pull list, and I also can't wait to read these by, on paper form rather than digital, because I prefer paper. What did I do? Gogor was the one I got last week, which same guy, I forget his name, Ken Garing, was that it? Same guy who did Planetoid that I bought a few years ago. So and I read Gogor digitally first, the issue 1, and liked it, and then got the first issue of it, and I was just really blown away. I can read something digitally and enjoy it, but sometimes, like I said, when I read that one in physical form, it was just so much better than the digital form, because in the digital form, though, like I said, I read digital comics on occasion. There's nothing wrong with them, but you miss the page turns, miss the double page spreads. It's just a different feeling and a different experience reading comics in my hand. So can't wait to read these as comics. And what else do we got? We've got Little Bird number 3. Another big, thick issue for just $4. These have definitely been a good... I think the last one was like 36 or 38 pages at $4, and it's a 5-issue mini. And you just get... I mean, that's a good, thick comic. Matter of fact, I think I still have issue... Well, I've read issue 2. But I'm in the habit of... I read an issue, and then I read it. But before I file it away, I read it a second time. Usually within the first 2 weeks of me getting it. So, not like I get a ton of comics here. So I'll put it in my to be read pile. I'll read it, and then I'll either put it on top of my printer where I can look at it a little more, or I'll put it in my to be read pile in the back, and I'll read it a second time, and then I'll file it away here somewhere. But I don't think I read Little Bird 2 a second time. I think it's still in my to be read book. So now I can read issue 2 and then read issue 3 right after it. So that'll be cool. But good comic, fantasy comic. The artwork is beautiful. I think I like the artwork a little better than I like the story. We'll see if the story picks up. The story's not bad or anything. It's just not... The artwork is more special than the story. That's all. But like I said, 38 pages of comic for $4. That's good stuff right there. That's really giving value to your monthly readers. Like there's only 5 issues. Then they'll collect it in I think a special edition hardcover, and then a trade eventually. That's what they said. The first issue they said, get the issues because it won't be out in trade for a while. But I think that's because they want to get a first issue hardcover special out first. But I don't blame them. Whatever strategy their strategy of putting out a really big comic sits well with me. That's one of the. I was on the fence with this one, and that's one of the things that put it over and made me get it. So, and then let's see. We have The Life and Death of Toyo Harada. Like I said, it's a little annoying that this one's a $5 comic, but I think the sales on it, I mean, who's buying this? But I think the sales on it are like 4,000 copies or something like that. So it's not like this one is lighting up the world, but it's my favorite of the Valiant comics. I really liked the Imperium that it's the world from the point of view of the main villain in the Valiant universe, and he's not really a villain. He's trying to make the world better. But a lot of people don't like the way he goes about it, and he was doing it in secret for years. He was one of the main villain in the Harbinger series when Valiant relaunched. I don't know, how long ago was that now? 6, 7, 8 years ago? So he was all over the Harbinger series, and then he got Imperium, his own series. Now it's continuing, and this picks up almost right where the Imperium left off when it was canceled like 2 years ago. So I think this is only a 5-issue series. I'm pretty sure they're just. I don't know. Maybe they want to wrap something up with the Imperium. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it thoroughly. It's written by the same guy, Joshua Dysart, who wrote the Harbinger and the Imperium. So I'm glad I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't written by him. So, like I said, really enjoying it. Just the $5 cover price makes me go, So I'm glad it's a limited series. But first 2 issues I really liked. Third issue I'm sure I'm going to like too. Then the last thing we got here is Xander Cannon's Kaiju Max. Season 4, issue number 6. This is the last of them. The last of... These have been all done in 6-issue seasons. I've gotten season 2, 3, and 4 now. And it's giant monsters, kaiju, in prison. And the twist on this season was a prison guard got thrown in prison with them. Except she's stuck in her... The guards are giant robots. They wear giant robot suits. And she's stuck in her giant robot suit, so has to be in prison with the other giant monsters. So it's been... it's a wraparound cover. Let's see. Let's take a look at that. So I'm really enjoying this. Is one of the, despite the fact that it stars giant monsters, it's one of the most human dramas I've read in comic. They just kind of all have distinct personalities. They're all kind of got their own lingo. And my friend Bunch, who's a huge he knows all. He's a huge kaiju fan. He knows all the source material. Tells me this is loaded with inside references too. He says maybe even too many inside references because he finds it distracting at times. But I don't get any of the inside references, so I don't find it distracting at all. I know very little about giant monsters, but I'm really enjoying Kaiju Max there. All right, so let's show you a little artwork. Oh, this is the giant. I showed you those big ones last week. I got a blank one going on there. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Haven't been able to start it. Now, this is Dreams of Things I'd finished. What issue is this? Issue number 69. Sort of a crazy face for you, and then in the color, I went into these sort of textures. We got the stripes, we got the polka, some sort of subtle textures, because sometimes being a painter, and I haven't worked in oil and acrylic in a while, but being a painter, let me show you, hold on. Pulling this right off the wall. You can see all the texture in the paint. That's a big part of painting, is all those brush strokes and textures in there. You know, there's paint has a physical presence, and that's kind of hard to duplicate in marker. So, because marker has no physical presence, it's all flat. So I try to work in some textures in there. The polka dots, you can, if you're doing sort of illustrative marker work, you would use modeling to kind of get your sense of presence to it. But when you're doing stuff that's flatter, I'm working with textures and things like that. And because like I had this all done, then I'm like, nah, it's not working for me. The color isn't there. There's not enough texture in it. So that's when I went back in and put in the subtle color changes, the stripes and the polka dots. But that's just a little look into a latest piece. So you guys all have a good week out there.